first. In every army of World War II, there were soldiers whose reputations spread faster than bullets. These men, fear in war often comes before contact. These soldiers earned their terror through brutal effectiveness, discipline, and an unbreakable will to fight. Many German troops feared capture more than death. Stories of relentless Red Army fighters spread panic across entire divisions.
Soviet soldiers fought with a ferocity shaped by invasion and survival. He emphasizes that retreat was often impossible.
These soldiers endured unimaginable losses, yet they continued to advance. Their refusal to break became a psychological weapon.
Allied soldiers feared fighting an enemy who refused surrender. This mindset turned every encounter into a fight to the death.
Japanese tactics relied on surprise and determination. Many Allied veterans later admitted these soldiers haunted them long after the fighting ended.
Fear came from unpredictability. Enemies who never retreated forced constant vigilance.
Producing German armored and infantry units known for precision and speed. Their reputation alone could break enemy morale.
These German units struck fast and decisively. Fear spread when defenses collapsed before the first shots were fired.
That discipline was terrifying in itself. Discipline that enemies often mistook this control for invincibility. These soldiers were trained to strike behind enemy lines. German troops feared sudden attacks from nowhere.
Speed and aggression defined these units. Confusion amplified fear.
These soldiers thrived in chaos. Their willingness to fight at close range terrified defenders.
These raids struck fear disproportionate to their size. Surprise and brutality made them legendary.
The enemy never knew when or where they would strike. This uncertainty became a weapon.
Night assaults shattered nerves. Some soldiers broke before dawn ever came.
Fear was multiplied when visibility vanished. These attacks became nightmares for survivors. The unseen threat, more than the enemy we could see, what truly eroded morale. Fear, we learned, often not from the unforgiving terrain, magnified the fear of every man. With relentless attackers pressing their advance, retreat became impossible. Their reputation preceded these units. Many defenders believed resistance was futile. This combined force overwhelmed enemies. Fear came from unstoppable momentum.
Terror often led to collapse, and order quickly disintegrated under such conditions.
Capture by certain units was deeply feared. Rumors and reality blurred together in the minds of the men. Fear never slept in these battles. Danger could emerge at any moment. Confusion favored the fearless. Hesitation meant death.
Overwhelming force crushed all resistance. The psychological shock of these coordinated assaults was profound.
Fear spread faster than orders. Survival instincts took over. Terror did not weaken these men. Fear fueled their resolve. The harsh environments forged ruthless fighters. Enemies struggled to match their endurance. The terrain offered no refuge. Fear clung to every shadow. Terror extended beyond the battlefield. Reputations followed these soldiers everywhere.
Anticipation was often worse than combat. Fear settled in long before contact.
The assault when defenses failed. Terror peaked. Panic became uncontrollable. Fear lingered long after the fighting stopped. Memories haunted survivors. Terror was etched into faces. War left permanent marks. Fear shaped behavior even after capture. Survival meant obedience. These feared soldiers rarely stopped. Their relentless momentum was their most potent weapon. Fear drove the enemy's retreat, and under immense pressure, their resistance collapsed.
Their resolve, their unwavering focus, unnerved the enemy.
No place was safe. Fear followed every footstep.
Unpredictability destroyed confidence. Uncertainty bred terror.
Endurance became intimidation. Enemies broke under pressure.
Fear never fully faded. Anticipation returned with darkness.
Terror reached its absolute peak here. Defenders, confronted with such overwhelming force, often had no choice but to surrender.
Fear shaped the outcome. Reputations saved lives by ending resistance.
Victory carried a heavy cost. The terror of the war left scars all sides.
Fear reshaped entire regions, leaving behind a legacy of lasting devastation that echoes even today.
Terror became history. Lessons were written in blood.
Memories never faded. Fear lived on in silence.
These are faces of the men who shaped history. Their reputations endured.
Eventually, the fear faded, leaving only memory. It is in reflection, not violence, that we find peace. The terror of war reshaped humanity. Its lessons remain relevant. Fear did not vanish after battles ended. Entire regions lived in the shadow of soldiers whose names alone carried terror. Anticipation drained morale faster than combat. Fear often weakened defenses before the first shot was fired. Industrial battlefields became slaughterhouses. Enemies felt trapped, with no escape.
Fear erased discipline. Survival instincts replaced strategy.
Hidden defenders terrified attackers. Every shadow threatened death.
Fear slowed every step. Hesitation could be fatal. The confined nature of the fighting magnified the terror. Courage was tested to its limits.
Armored assaults overwhelmed nerves. Fear came from unstoppable steel.
Terror froze movement. Panic spread quickly.
Fear extended to the skies. Civilians and soldiers alike felt helpless. Terror became a constant companion. The war had erased all safe places.
Urban warfare punished hesitation. Fear lurked in every doorway.
The invisibility terrified opponents. Unseen enemies shattered confidence.
Cold intensified fear. Survival itself became a battle. Endurance bred ruthless resolve. Enemies struggled to endure the same. Fear no longer stopped them. Determination replaced hesitation.
Terror broke the resistance, and retreats turned into routs.
Surrender came from fear as much as defeat. Reputations mattered.
Momentum terrified enemies. Resistance collapsed ahead of contact. Fear, a cold and creeping dread, often robbed men of their initiative in moments. paralysis.
Conspicuous. The terrifying proximity of man to man in the maelstrom of Baptide the Terror. This raw brutality. Fear did not end with injury. Survival brought its own trauma. The silence. It allowed the fear to return. Anticipation gnawed at nerves. Respite never lasted. Terror was relentless. Darkness multiplied fear. Unseen threats dominated minds.
Surprise destroyed confidence. Terror struck instantly.
Overwhelming force crushed hope. Fear became certainty.
Terror erased order, and collapse followed quickly.
Terror had drained all sides equally. Relief, a fragile flicker, mixed with the enduring trauma of what they had witnessed.
Fear no longer stopped the advance. The outcome was decided.
The terror of sustained conflict forced their capitulation. Survival outweighed pride.
Fear reshaped nations. Cities bore scars.
Victory arrived through terror and sacrifice. Triumph carried weight. Fear slowly receded. Memories remained. Thus time softened scars. Fear faded into history.
These men defined fear in war. Their faces told stories.
The terror of war cost countless lives. But remembrance mattered. Tools of fear were left behind. Fear shaped generations. But from the depths of that fear, lessons emerged. Lessons that endured. Peace followed a period of terror, and recovery took time. War left permanent marks. Fear reshaped humanity. Terror once ruled these lands. History must remember. Fear defined an era. Understanding it honors those who lived and died through it. Terror was a weapon. Its legacy endure. War, in its brutal honesty, peeled back with our existence, revealing the stark extremes of human nature.
These soldiers terrified their enemies. They also paid the highest price.
The echoes of terror remain lessons for the future. World War II changed the world forever.